Hi, I'm Greg Dean, Vice President of Sales and Brand Management for Zamboni Company. Welcome to our first digital event. We may be off the ice, but we plan for this to be the first of many future digital connections. These really are different times, and it seems like trade shows and conferences will be on pause for a while. Our team has been developing a broadcast trade show experience for you online, and we are happy to have you with us today. Some of you may have joined us in May for the NARS Online program. It was great to connect with everyone. We believe that using this new forum, we can share information about products and services and performance tips with you and your team. We want to hear from you. If you have ideas for future topics or want to learn more about a particular product, let us know. I'd like to introduce our presenters today, Doug, Marty, and Scott from our North American sales team. We also have some additional guests here with us today who might well step in during our presentation, including Don Zamboni from Customer Service and Sales. At this point, I'm going to hand it off to Doug and the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Interest in electric ice resurfacing machines has continued to grow over the last 30 years, which coincides with the Zamboni 552 being introduced to the marketplace. The history of the Zamboni Company's involvement with electric machines goes back even further, all the way back to 1960 when Frank Zamboni was asked to produce 2 electric machines for the 1960 Squaw Valley Olympic Games. The hockey rink had such tight corners that a special machine was needed to be produced to get into those corners. Some Fords might have had difficulty navigating their way through the corners, but not the machines that Frank designed. Frank kept at it, and in the 1970s, he introduced an electric production model, which was the 550. The 550 was designed primarily for rinks in malls, although it was used in a couple full-size applications. Fairfax, Virginia was a very big success story for us with the 550, using that for many years until they replaced it with a 552. The 550 was also used at the West Edmonton Mall. Don, I'm wondering if you could jump in and give us your take on the basics and how it operated.
Sure. The 550 was very much a converted 500. So basically, the engine was replaced with one single electric motor. And from today's standards, you know, our modern machines have motor controllers. This machine was simpler than that. It didn't have a motor controller. It had a series of 2 contactors to soft start the motor when you turn the key on. But once the key is on and the machine was running, there was a direct connection between the battery and the motor. So the motor was running at full speed all the time. Not the best for economy and efficiency electrically, but the machine did the job and laid the landwork for the 552.
The next chapter in the electric story with Zamboni is the 555. That was introduced in 1982 by our European partner Rolba, and about 40 of those units were made. Some of them are still in the field today. Don, if you could chat a little bit about the design of that machine and the motors that were used in it.
Yeah, that was one of the first machines built with 7 separate motors. There was 4 traction motors, 2 auger motors, and then additional motor to pump all the hydraulics.
In the late 80s, we realized that there was going to be a marketplace for electric machines in the standard community rink, and that the 550 was not going to be able to handle the load that a typical community rink would put on it. So the design of the 552 was developed, and that came to marketplace in 1990. We're happy to be celebrating 30 years of the 552, and we've got more than 1,000 of these in the field. Some of the more high-profile places that are using it, the Montreal Canadiens, T-Alf with their speed skating oval. The 552 was also used at the 1994 Olympic Games in Lillehammer, as well as the 1998 Olympic Games in Nagano, Japan. The 552 continued its evolution, and when it first came out, we used a GE EV100 and EV200 control system along with their controls. Don, could you jump in and talk a little bit about how that functioned in the early 552s?
Sure. Yeah, the 552 is different from the 550, where the traction motor was separated. So 552 has two motors. We got a traction motor and a pump motor that required two separate motor controllers. So the EV100 was for the pump motor, and the EV200 was for the traction motor. And these are basically general electric controls for the forklift industry. So we were kind of just mirroring what the forklift industry was doing at that time. And the controls, as you can see from the pictures, are quite complicated compared to the controllers of today. But this was the technology that was available at that time.
Great, thanks, Don. Later on in the 552's life, we switched over to Sevcon controls. And Don, maybe you could elaborate a little bit more about that, as that took out a lot of the components and made it much easier for service and operation for the users.
Yeah, the Sevcon Power Pack controllers, the control box is a simpler looking and very much complicated. You can see the controllers themselves don't have individual components per se. There's a controller and logic card. So it's been simplified for the user. We still have contactors in the bottom of the page that you can see that are not a part of a AC machine anymore. So you can progressively see our control boxes become simpler looking because the controllers are taking the function internally.
In 2017, we introduced AC motors and controls to the 552, continuing its evolution. And the primary reason to go to AC motors was that it eliminated brushes, which was a problem from a standpoint of something that the users had to change out on a somewhat regular basis, and due to the design of the machine on the traction drive brush, one of those brushes was a bit challenging to try to access. So going along to the AC controls was something that really was an advancement for the operators, again, mirroring what the forklift industry has done. We also gained efficiencies with the AC motors so that the machine wouldn't consume as much energy as it would with the DC. And one of the big advancements. Don, maybe you could tap into that topic and let us know what your feedback's been from customers.
Well, the brushes in the motor was a maintenance issue with the DC motors. Brush problems, if they were neglected and the brushes became too short, the machine could malfunction because of that. So the AC controllers and motors have simplified the maintenance of the machine, because the motors are basically maintenance free. They're sealed. Water can't get inside these motors. So it's a simpler design from the motor standpoint.
Great. Thank you very much, Don. The lead acid battery was something that's been used in our electric machines all the way back into the 550 era, and it continues to be used today. The lead acid batteries are continuing to evolve, and the product that's being provided to us by our suppliers has vastly improved over the 30 years that the 552 has been in business. We also have got advanced watering systems now for the batteries, in that the watering systems that first came out with the 552 weren't as efficient and without fault as they are today. It's a very good system that is available for operators to make it easier for them to water the batteries if they go with the lead acid system. The 552 continued to evolve, and most recently we've started offering lithium ion batteries. Lithium ion was first introduced in 2018 in the 450, which Marty and Scott are going to go to in a short period of time. The 552 evolved to the lithium ion in 2019, and it has been a game changer for facilities. Absolutely no maintenance is required with the lithium ion battery. It's simple charging. improved battery connection, which is very similar to a pin type connection that you would see in an electric frying pan. The lithium ion makes it simple. All the operator has to do is remember to charge it up after they get done utilizing the machine. And the number one thing that we've found in the industry with the 552 is that people typically don't take care of the batteries the way that they should. It's not the case in every facility, but it is something that is quite common. With lithium ion, they don't have to worry about doing that. Again, zero maintenance is the big key for lithium ion. It is a bit more expensive than a standard lead acid battery is, but it is something that has been very well received by the marketplace. We see most of the orders that we're taking these days are going with the lithium ion. Customers have jumped on board with the advantages of the lithium ion battery pack, and it's going to be something we feel that we're going to continue to see going forward. Sometimes when a customer would transition from fuel to electric, they would struggle to provide the needed care for the batteries. With the advancement of the lithium ion, it's made that step easier if it is the first time. Since we're 30 years into the 552, we've got more and more customers that are going on to their second, third machine, as opposed to just making that initial step. When it comes to teaching a customer how to maintain it, it's a very short learn when they're learning about lithium ion. Marty and Scott will expand on this in the discussion on the 450. Guys, please take it away.
Thanks, Doug. Zamboni Company is the first OEM, original equipment manufacturer, to introduce the lithium-ion battery-powered ice resurfacer. Best part about the lithium-ion battery is, as Doug indicated, it's a emissions-free battery. It's a plug-and-play. And presently, we have roughly 50-plus machines out in the marketplace now, with more that have been sold and are being produced. And the feedback we've received from our customers has been very positive. The biggest positive part about it, especially the ones that were with an AC machine prior to, the zero maintenance, as Doug had indicated. The operators can't even get to the batteries. They're completely sealed. The best part about it as well, from a zero carbon footprint, is there's zero off-gassing. So it's an emissions-free machine. One of the benefits of the 450, it's built on the exact same structure as our 400 series model, producing the same outputs for the operators to be able to do their ice maintenance. There's a lot of similarities. The actual hydrostatic bypass valve is exactly the same, working with the same hoses for hydraulics. Our battery management system, which you can see inside that box. We even have our forward and reverse control pedal, exactly the same. Our water capabilities are exactly the same on the 400 series. Everything underneath the driver, as far as the sled, is exactly the same. Difference being is on the dash. With our actual switch now, we actually have a 2-point switch, one at low speed, which is 1,150 RPM, and top speed of 2,500 RPM. There's two types of battery packages with the 450 lithium ion. We have our standard and we have our extra capacity. With the standard package, the operator from 100% charge can do roughly between 3 to 4 floods complete. And with the extra capacity package, they can do anywhere from 6 to 8 floods and then follow the procedure of plug and play. Moving over to the multifunction display for the operators, they're able to see exactly at any time while operating the machine how much charge is available on the machine while they're flooding the ice. So there's an indication from green to yellow to red that will give the operator the indication when they should be actually plugging it in. We try to stress to the operators it's a plug and play machine, constantly plugging it in when they're not using it. Our BASI charger system, great display. It indicates to the operators the actual amp hours that have been used. It'll actually walk them down how long it's taking to actually charge the machine, which with the 450, the best way to describe it, if your discharge time is roughly 8 to 10 minutes, you multiply that by 1.5. So a 10-minute flood, you're 15 minutes to bring it back up to 100%. At that point, I'm going to actually hand it over to Scott Douglas and talk a bit about our 650 model.
Thank you, Marty. So we spent a little bit of time talking about lithium-ion batteries, but lead acid batteries aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Doug and Don provided us a great history of our electric machines that have used lead acid batteries in the past. And building off of the 30 years of success of the 552 and now the 552 AC, which are still being built in Paramount, we are also continuing to utilize lead acid batteries in the Model 650, which is built out of our Canadian facility here in Brantford. So lead acid batteries are a proven battery technology, and as Doug's previously mentioned, they too are continually evolving. The Model 650 was introduced in 2015, and the Model 650 differs from our traditional machine appearance, but it offers customers a fresh look while retaining what sets our machines apart, and that's leaving behind the best possible sheet of ice.
This is our Zamboni Model 650. The Model 650 was a new machine design utilizing fiberglass panels throughout the machine. Using AC motors and controls, a new chassis was designed to accommodate the weight and size of larger lead-acid batteries, while maintaining large water and snow tank capacities. The 650 was designed to allow for efficient serviceability and reliable performance. The lead-acid batteries in the Model 650 come with a single-point watering system that makes battery maintenance that much easier. A blinking LED light serves as a visual cue to operators that their batteries are in good health. The 650 comes well equipped with standard options, utilizing cylinder locks, a 77 or 86-inch blade, our cylinder-style board brush, large snow tank capacity, and water fill on both sides of the 650. Additionally, available on all our machines is the auger washout system. The auger washout system makes it very simple to wash out your horizontal, vertical, or both at the same time. By simply hooking up your source hose to the adapter on the side of the machine, you can control it with a lever, and you can wash out your augers without having to take the guards off. The rear hatch on the 650 allows for efficient service. The gray box contains all the electrical components of the machine. This box is kept locked, ensuring operator safety. The 650 utilizes the same conditioner design as our other machines. Like I said, it's available on the 77-inch blade or 86-inch blade. With remote grease points for auger bearings and the lift points, daily greasing is made that much more convenient and simple for operators. Another option available on all our machines is an upgraded seat. This seat offers additional adjustability, support, and comfort for all operators of all shapes and sizes. The seat offers lumbar support, and it also comes with a heated seat option, making those long ice maintenance cuts much more enjoyable. In addition to the battery display indicator, the 650 has a new placement for the machine's controls. Controls are now found on the operator's right side. It's an automatic snow breaker, advanced watering system, wash water, tire wash, and board brush. An LED snow tank light takes the guesswork of how much you're cutting, while LED headlights light the way. Our machines have changed over the years, and they now have some impressive technology on board, but our commitment to the machine's quality and our customers' expectations remains the same.
Now that we've covered our lineup of lithium-ion and lead-acid battery machines, I'm going to send it back to Doug to discuss how we go about charging these particular units.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Appreciate that. Over the years, we've used a variety of chargers for the 552. We started out with a Life Plus charger, which was a high-frequency charger. At the onset, some cases it didn't provide us with the durability that we wanted it to, so we switched to a ferroresonant charger, which was much more indestructible, but unfortunately with it came size. It was a great big charger that was approximately a 36-inch cube that weighed about 350 pounds. New technology in chargers has developed over the last few years, and it includes the charger that we're currently using with the 552, which is about the size of a CPU. It's amazing what they're able to pack into these small chargers these days. It's also got built-in redundancy, so that if a component goes down that makes the charger function, there's additional components in it that will allow the charger to still charge on a partial basis so that operators can get through the day. With the lithium-ion battery, the charger has a battery management system on it that is the brains behind the battery pack. Marty, could you fill us in a little bit more about how that functions on the 450?
Sure, Doug. It's the CAN communication. So it's between the battery management system, as you indicated, Doug, the BMS, and the actual charging unit itself, speaking back and forth. So the two benefits for the machine and the operators and the owners of the machine is maximizing the battery life. without what we call smart charging. There's never any harm done to the batteries, maximizing the battery life. So that's the biggest benefit identified with the lithium-ion battery charging system, Doug.
Thanks, Marty. Scott, I'd like to have you talk a little bit maybe about the balancing of the batteries and how that goes on with the battery management system.
Yep, of course. With the BMS, the battery just makes sure that no cell gets too much of a charge. If one goes low, the charger will know to top that one up, and then it'll evenly disperse as the machine goes down. This really helps. I know with lead acid batteries, they could have the cells in the center. They take most of the heat, so they would kind of get used a little faster than the ones on the outside. But with the BMS of the system, as these lead or lithium-ion batteries charge, it's even throughout, and it really promotes the long health of the battery.
Thanks a lot, Scott. In addition to our electric machines, we would like to spend some time talking about our EZ3 Electric Edger. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Doug. Yes, the EZ3 Electric Battery Edger, one of the game changers in the industry since edgers were introduced. Or the fuel edger certainly is one of the higher pollutants in the industry out of any operating system in ice resurfacing. It's a zero maintenance battery for the operators. There's nothing that they have to do with the battery system except charge it. Just like our 450, it's a plug and play machine. The adjustment parameters for the cutting of the system with their 8 carbide tip blades allows the operator with the adjustment handle to cut within 1/64th of an inch to a max cut of 3/16. As the operators know, they have to chip after the edge, and one of the benefits of our actual edger is the distance between the puck plate, the kickboard, and the actual blade cutting itself leaves roughly about a 1/16th of an inch ridge that they have to chip. So it's really easy and user-friendly for the operator to finish their edging process. There again, just like the lithium-ion 450, it's a plug-and-play product for the operators, very user-friendly for them. And the best part about this as well is with our EZ3 Edger, we have 8 carbide tip blades. It's very easy to change, maximizing speed of 2100 RPMs. Cut it creates is a very clean cut for the operators. It's delivering what they're expecting. It's not an ice maintenance edger, it's an ice maintaining edger, and that's the expectation in the industry as far as best practices and SOP, which is the operator should be edging on a daily basis. Anything else you want to add to that, Scotty?
I was just going to say that with the conversion to electric from fuel, coming in on a Monday morning and edging out half an inch of ice from the corners is no longer a possibility with these electric edgers. You're going to find yourself running out of battery very quickly. Instead, with the ease of use with this edger, it's very simple at the end of the shift. Just do a quick pass along each night of the week. So then that Monday morning edge comes down to maybe a fraction of what it once was. And then with staff, we'll likely find that the cut on this edger and the ease of use makes it a real dream to use versus kind of starting up your fuel-powered engine and opening the bay door and airing it all out for the end of the night.
Yeah, it's great feedback from the operators that both you and I have seen out there that we're receiving on a weekly basis, definitely. Well, at this point, I think we can pass it back to Doug. Doug, you there?
Yep. Thanks, guys. The EZ3 Edger, it really sells itself. What we found down here in the States is when people go and see this demoed, they're impressed by how quiet it runs. The extra cutting blades that are on it provide how I refer to it as, it shaves the ice more so than scoring the ice that you get with the 2-bladed fuel-powered edger. And with it, as Scott mentioned, it's something that it's not going to be able to go out and hog out half an inch of ice, but because it's emission-free, you can take this and edge at any time that you want. It's really an advancement. It's something that our distributors clamored for many years. And when this was developed up at the Canadian plant, it's been a tool that's been very well received by the industry. We'd like to now bring Don Zamboni back, and we're going to sit around the fireplace here, and we're going to throw out some questions that we typically hear at trade shows or we get asked by customers. And one of the things that I'd like to chat about is when it comes to lithium-ion batteries, is taking your ice out going to be something that's going to impact the battery life? No, it's not. It's with an electric machine. It's something that you are going to have a situation where you've got a limited size fuel tank. That is one of the trade-offs with an electric machine. That you don't have any emissions that are being produced, but it's something that with that you have to plan around different things. So it's plan around taking your ice out, plan around taking ice maintenance, but you are going to be able to do those things. Marty, I'd like to have you answer a question: is how much time to charge a lithium-ion battery when it's low?
Yeah, that question actually gets asked a lot, and I know Scott can speak to this when we are out training operators on the new 450. The best way to describe it is what your discharge time is your flood time. So what your charge time is just multiply it by 1.5. 10-minute flood, 15-minute charge. Anything? I mean, Scott, that would be pretty accurate.
Yep. Yeah, give or take. So say you do, even your flood takes 20 minutes. Just figure half an hour to charge it back up, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to charge it back up. So
I love Scott's analogy has got to be the best. Got to share the analogy, Scott, about
charging your phone.
Yeah.
Can you charge your phone, Marty? Then you can charge it to a 450. Or a
charging a phone, it's just plugged into the wall, isn't it? For us old folks here.
No, Scott. When we're training on operators on the 450 lithium ion, he uses the analogy: charging a 450 lithium ion is like plugging your phone in at night, or when you want to charge it. It's that simple. Fair to say, Scotty?
The dial phone that I got doesn't have to be charged at all. It just is constantly charged, Marty.
Yeah, you're exposing your age again, Doug. Gotta stop.
I am.
450
you know, as dinosaurs.
Better than a phone charger, because your phone charger will just put power into your phone battery all night, whereas the machine battery machine charger will actually turn off when the battery's topped up, so you don't have any excess wear on the battery as the machine ages. So, it's easier to charge the machine than it is to actually charge your phone.
It is, and you know what? This whole part about charging the batteries leads back to what you were talking about, Doug, as far as ice maintenance and taking your ice out. That's how simple the charging process is. I mean, they're not having to wait around changing propane tanks or waiting until they're up to about 2,800 psi on their CNG tank. They're just driving off. They're plugging it in. Maybe take a lunch break or a morning break, whatever. Let it charge, and away they go. They can get back out there and do what they have to do. Yeah,
great. Scotty, I'd like to have you respond to how are operators adapting to the electric machines. Ontario's been a little bit of a slower market in comparison to some of the other provinces in Canada and some of the marketplaces down in the States. How are you finding it now that the electric machine is making its inroads into Ontario?
Yeah, well, there's kind of two parts of this I'd kind of like to talk on. The first one is when the operators get on the machine. We were in a facility in the fall, and they had a Model 400 series, and we brought them a Model 450 to demonstrate. The training process was 10 minutes. The one guy, as soon as he hopped off the machine, said, "It drives like a Zamboni. I don't really need much else training. Just tell me where to plug it in." So we're seeing a lot of that when it comes to operators responding to the machine itself. They're saying it drives like a Zamboni. The cut's what they're liking. In regards to the actual kind of transition in our market from fuel to electric, in my time with Zamboni, when I first started, the bids I was completing, they were usually all for fuel. And slowly there were starting to be some mentions of electric. Some municipalities were early adapters and were doing electric a few years ago, but now pretty well every bid that we're getting at least has, if it isn't for an electric machine, it's at least asking for pricing on an electric machine. So the transition's really picked up, and we're kind of catching up with some provinces like Quebec and British Columbia, and even in a lot of the states, they've really been ahead of us for electric machines.
And we actually, Scotty, fair enough to say that we have large municipalities in Ontario switching their whole fleets from fossil fuel over to electric. Okay?
There's been some declaration or state of emergencies for going against climate change, but I think that's really pushed the envelope in that. But sure, you can see that there's a change coming.
Don, I'd like to have you pipe in. One of the questions that gets asked a lot is, how often should a facility be changing their blade? Can you touch on that?
Sure. Well, I'd like to say that the blade, the machine is very dependent on a sharp blade. If the blade is not sharp enough, the machine is a scraping machine, and that you know, a dull blade will lift the whole conditioner conditioner off of the ice. So a sharp blade is key in getting a good shave to the ice. But as far as life of the blade, I believe the quality of the floodwater plays a role in the dulling of the blade. If you have really clean, let's say RO water, I believe the blade edge can maintain its sharpness for a longer period of time. But we're roughly seeing 80 to 100 cuts and sometimes 10 hours of machine use as the target time to change the blade out with a new sharpened, not a new blade, but a resharpened sharp blade.
Great. Thanks a lot. Marty, could you maybe suggest to people listening, how often should they be edging? And is that something that once a week is sufficient?
Not even close, Doug. It's, you know, we get it all the time, the question. And then we identify based on when we actually are going into arenas, what we call in the industry, the bowl effect. We know when the operators and facilities are edging once a day or once a week. And based on, especially with our EZ3 Edger, because if you do it once a day, you can maintain that proper feathering right up to the puck plate. They should be doing it once a day. And we're talking no more than 15 minutes, maybe max 20 minutes, depending on the level of cut they're doing to get around one pad. So, I mean, I know operators are busy. They have a lot of things, a lot of responsibilities in the arena. So it's a choice whether they do it at night at the end of the shift or do it first thing in the morning before they have programming starting. But they definitely should be doing it once a day, no questions.
One other question that's come up is, and either Scotty or Marty, maybe you could answer, how are the new options impacting the performance of an electric machine, such as level ice or fast ice, if you run into that on any of the LI machines?
I'll jump on that one, Marty.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, just kind of building off of what we were talking about with edging, options like level ice can really help reduce the amount of edging you're doing on a Monday morning as well. Say if you have your part-time staff on the weekends, they might not have the best water control, or maybe they're new. The reasons to edge with options like level ice are a lot smaller. And that being said, putting level ice on your electric machine does not really at all affect the battery performance.
Yeah, with the battery management system, it disperses the power needed for wherever it's going to. And with the BMS, it gives proper lifetime, or the proper life of the battery that should be due to the technology that's being used in the BMS. Yeah. Great.
Marty, have you sold Zamboni Connect on any 450 machines as yet?
I'm trying to think. I think
yes.
Yeah, we have. Collingwood. Collingwood has the Zamboni Connect. Yeah.
Okay, great. And that's a feature. I'm sorry to step on you. That's a feature that hopefully with the LI and the data that option provides will give us some great information down the road.
Yeah, and the feedback it gives to the actual management that are overseeing the facility, understanding the actual usage, amp hours, kilowatts per hour usage, all the information that Connect can give on the batteries. They're utilizing that information along with all the other features of Connect that's available as well. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We're working on future events, and hopefully the next one might be live. It might be a while due to the situation that we are in these days before we can do regional shows again, and what they might look like, no one knows. You can stay connected with us on social media. We'll be making announcements about other digital events that we might be doing. We'd like you to share your questions and suggested topics for events like this or for our podcasts. And speaking of which, make sure to catch us on Ask the Zamboni Experts podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to doing this again for you in the near future.